Hey guys, welcome back. This is Simab Tariq, and you're watching my YouTube channel Needs to Know. Today I'm here with the new topic, of course, a very important topic related to construction, as you see on my screen, as construction giant and expansion giant. In this video, we will cover briefly what is construction giant, what is expansion giant, and what are very important key points related to these activities, which where we need to take care. So let's start with the topic without wasting time. But if you're new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so you get my videos. Starting with the construction giant. Construction giant is actually a planned break in a concrete placement forming a structural connection where new concrete meets with the hardened concrete or old concrete. If we have a very long structure element and we have to pour in one go, but because of any reason it is not possible, so we have to split the concrete in two different stages. Like we have to pour half of the concrete in one day and then half of the concrete in then another day. So in such cases we have to provide the construction giant. Construction giant is not related to control the movement, but it's only the uh, it's only related to continuity of two pores. Mean continuity between two pores. Okay, so we'll go for the very important key point which we need to implement with the construction joint. You can see here is the first thing is we need to provide chipping. You see in the picture, I will show with the laser pointer. Give me a second. Yes, so you can see this half of the concrete we have stopped at this point, and this will be the construction joint point. We pour one portion of the or structural element, and then the portion we will pour in the next stage. In this cases, we have to, when we before starting the new pour, we have to clear this, we have to chip this whole non compacted and loose concrete with the chipping machine or healthy, to ensure that there is no any loose concrete available at our construction joint. And once we complete the chipping, we have to clean it with the compressor. And then next point is uh, this is the point where we need to take care before casting the first pour. And the construction giant location, we have to provide some extra bar. This is a good practice just to ensure that the load transfer is ensured properly. And we can also provide the high ribs in the construction giant for the better bonding between the old concrete and the new concrete. And the fourth point is, of course, the application of bonding agent. When you completely chip the construction giant point with the healthy and then clean with the compressor, and it's properly cleaned and washed, and then you have to apply the bonding agent. This will increase the bonding between the old concrete and the new concrete. These are very four very important points we need to take care. And the construction giant at the side, we have to implement the quality control to ensure that the load is properly transferred and the structural and integrity is ensured. This is all about the construction giant. Now move to expansion giant. Expansion giant is actually the gap between concrete structure to allow concrete expansion and contraction to control crack. So sometimes we have very long and lengthy buildings. So we have to uh, ensure that there is no crack induced by the thermal contraction and compaction of concrete and rebar because of the thermal changes. So we split our building in two to three portion through expansion giant. Through expansion giant, we will split the building into two to three portion as required to ensure that there is no crack induced because of the thermal contraction and expansion due to thermal changes. So here you can see the key point for the expansion giant. It's prevent the cracks and observe movement Where we use the expansion giant, we usually use in the long walls, bridges, and pavements. And how the next question is how you will fill. You can see in this picture, I will show you the middle picture. This is actually same building, but this is the expansion giant. This is the gap. You can see this one. This is the gap between the same structure. This is uh, one side is another side, and this is the gap. So how you will fill the gap between because this is the same building, so we have to ensure that there is no any water intrusion to this expansion joint to the building. So what we will do, we have to do four things. First is we have to provide EEJ and IEJ or IEJ. So this is EEJ mean external expansion joint and IEJ mean internal expansion joint. We have to provide this in our expansion joint. And the second thing is we have to provide the flexible filler board and the gap, and then backing rod and sealant should be applied to prevent water intrusion through expansion joint. You can see in the picture, this is the filler board, this is the backing rod, and this is the yellow color is the sealant. Backing rod picture you can see here. These are the different of backing rod, and this is the filler board, and the picture at the bottom. So filler board we can apply at the bottom, and then backing rod, and then followed by the joint sealant. Backing rod sometimes we cannot use. This depend on our gap between the filler board and the top of the expansion joint. So we'll go for the explanation of EEJ and IEJ, what is it and how we will use, and the next slide. So you can see here, you see three pictures, and the middle picture, this is external expansion joint. External expansion joint, how you will recognize that one side will be flat and it will be at the bottom face of any expansion joint, and other side is with the rib and this bulb. The bulb should be in the middle, and it will be fit in the expansion joint, or expansion maybe 20 mm or 30 mm or 50 mm, and then these ribs it will be embedded in the concrete. So you can see the picture at the left here. This the installation of the external expansion joint at side, how we will install. See, this is one portion and this is another portion, and this is the expansion joint. This way we can place the external expansion joint at the bottom, the flat side to be toward the bottom, and the ribbed side toward the top of the structure. And it should be aligned to the expansion joint. The bulb should be aligned to the expansion joint. This way, when we complete the casting of both uh, the the element, and then we can provide the filler board here, and then sealant. Or if we require baking rod, we'll also provide baking rod, and then we apply the sealant. Because sometimes our sealant required thick sealant is required to reduce the quantity of sealant. We just provide the baking rod to the expansion joint. So in this example, it is not shown the baking rod, but this is not important that you have to provide. Must it is optional. You can provide or you cannot. So the another illustration toward the right, you can see this is internal IEJ, internal expansion joint. Internal expansion joint we can provide in the middle of the structure. The bulb location should be at the expansion joint, so it can observe the movement of the building, and the ribbed side should be embedded in the concrete. This way you can see in the bottom you can provide the filler board, at the top you can provide the filler board, and then we have to apply the sealant at the top. So this is all about construction joint and expansion joint, what is it and how we can seal those uh, mm, expansion joints, and what are the important key points for the construction joint to ensure that the construction joint is properly placed. That's all about today's topic. If you have any question, you can contact me through comments. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.